Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons, your preferred Bryant dealer. Whatever it takes. Visit robertgibb.com.
And good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. We'll have an update quickly this morning on what you can expect with regards to our clipper that moved through. Road and radar report. Now, the highlight, though, of this is that a winter storm warning, a winter storm watch in yellow has been issued from eastern Montana through the southern half of North Dakota, all of South Dakota for the most part. And most of Minnesota. It does include the Twin Cities area. Snowfall in the Fargo area from the National Weather Service, basically just reading right from what the National Weather Service is saying. This isn't Hutch's words. This is 10 to 18 inches of snow possible. I think we could see a few pockets higher than that south. High winds, 40 miles per hour. The duration, Sunday morning through Tuesday morning. A long-lived winter event that we've been talking about. I'll have much more on that. Bruce, good to see you as well. Right now, snow continues to exit the Twin Cities. There's flurries around the area. A number of crashes out in the Twin Cities and points between. I'm going to take a look at the Minnesota road report first and foremost. Our roads here in Fargo, not too bad. I measured 1 inch on the deck. We'll show you snowfall totals in just a moment. I think more fittingly, the main snow event with the Alberta Clipper is all but done, with the exception to the Twin Cities area. Now, as far as road reports are concerned, that DOT in Minnesota has blue to green conditions, so partially covered roads between Minneapolis and Fargo. If you're heading out to root on the Fighting Hawks out in the Twin Cities. Big-time hockey hardware on the line. Clarine, good to see you joining. Thanks again for letting me know. About 1 inch in Vining, too. I had 1 inch on the deck here in South Moorhead. Now, as you take a look at these asterisks that you're seeing here in purple, those are incidents or crashes that are being reported. Here's a look at the Twin Cities. We'll just pick a random camera. This is on Minnesota 65 and Highway 65, and they got greasy roads in the Twin Cities. So traffic out there is slow, but for most of our area, we're looking at fair conditions. Sauk Center, we have some pink roads there. Those roads indicate that they're completely covered with snow. Here's a look at I-94 at Sauk Center, and you can certainly see the increasing amount of snow on the roads. I'll compare it to what we're seeing here in the valley. This is I-94 at County Road 8 as you get closer to the Monticello area. Now, up in our neck of the woods, Barnesville, well, that was about the edge of the heavier band of snow, and you can certainly see on Interstate 94 on the edges and even on the road itself that it isn't completely clear of snow and ice as it shows here. Do yourself a favor, slow down, give yourself extra time, and that is a look at what we have going on. Hi, Mary from Boston. Good to have you on board. Debbie, thanks, Gene, for joining. A ton of snow for Otter Tail this weekend. Now, let's get on to the storm, and I will highlight it with just a couple of facts. I do anticipate that we're going to have some issues with regards to our driving, travel, as well as other impacts from the storm. I'll pull up my 7-day planner here. I think it says it best, but let's take a look at one of the forecast models' track of the storm. And this is from, as you'll see here momentarily, and well, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Pardon me. There it is. Okay, so I've been showing this the past couple of days, and this is what I'm looking at here. The National Weather Service has a watch area that very much matches this model's output. This is the American model. The European is a little bit different. We'll go over these in more detail later, but we'll get you out the door in the morning. And there are new models coming in as we speak. But checking this out, we have the storm track that will affect the southern one half, say Highway 200 and points south all the way to Iowa, all the way to Nebraska. And where you're seeing these reports or estimates by this model of 8 or more inches of snow is where I've drawn the yellow lines. So inside the yellow lines, we'll have winter storm conditions, gusts of wind over 35, even over 40 miles per hour, and snow accumulations of over 8 inches. And many places will have 6 to 8 inches likely. And then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this storm system. It looks like along and south of I-94, where we're talking 10 to 12 inches likely, with 18 inches or more not out of the question. It does look like for our friends in South Dakota, this system system could bring even more snow, and we could be talking closer to 20 inches to 2 feet of snow in some of those areas. So be prepared. I'll have you updated here throughout. Let's take a look at some snow reports to finish off here this morning. And again, I will be back with you numerous times throughout the day. This is just a quick get you out the door update. Snow reports from around the region. Way up in Maine, they've gotten 13 inches of snow over the last 24 hours. We do have a few reports coming in here in the Dakotas and Minnesota. Now, I said 2 to 7 inches along the border. Some of the reports I got here were from last night. I got at 10 o'clock last night or so about 4.25 inches reported in Aberdeen, and that was the case there. So the 2 to 5 verified. Ellendale, 5 inches. As we look at 4 down here in Lidgerwood, I said pockets of 7. We still may have a 7-inch report come in from these areas. Most of the snow fell after dark, after 10 o'clock here along the South Dakota border. It looked pretty rough and tough in the Sisseton area. The 2.5-inch report from Sisseton, I'm going to try to see the time on that. That was at 10 p.m. last night. So many of these were last night as it was still snowing. This one was from Britain, South Dakota, was from 7 a.m. this morning. Getting into the Twin Cities, as you're traveling through St. Cloud, that area, you're going to see upwards of 8 inches of snow in Clear Lake, 8 inches of snow in Luxembourg, and the Twin Cities getting a healthy dose on the northern metro area where they issued the winter storm warning very late last night. 7.5 inches in St. Francis, way up to the north in East Bethel, 6.5 inches, 6 inches reported there. So there are some travel troubles for those of you going down to root on the hockey home team out there. The Fighting Hawks from UND will be playing for some hockey hardware. I know there's some Gopher fans out here as well. Jennifer, Mike, thanks for sharing your posting of this video by tagging a friend on this. 18 inches of snow is not going to be out of the question. We'll highlight that once again. As I started with it, I will end with it right here. A look at the National Weather Service's own verbiage on this as we take a look at the impact area. For viewers that are outside of the Fargo area, I'll get to you in just a second. Let's take a look in the Sioux Falls zone. This looks to be and has been the bullseye of this storm for some time. Let's look in this area. Winter storm watch, heavy snow, 6 to 12 inches is what they're saying in the Lacuparo, Chippewa County areas in Minnesota from Sunday morning through Tuesday morning. You go into the Fargo zone here, and they're saying something similar. The amounts are a little bit higher, I think, for south of us, but we're calling for 10 to 18 inches of snow possible in and around Fargo with 40-mile-per-hour winds. Time to start preparing the impacts from that. Here, a new warning just issued for Iowa, a winter storm warning. We're talking Rockford and Beloit as we get into Beloit, Wisconsin, Rockford, Illinois, Dubuque, Iowa here. This winter storm warning is for this Alberta Clipper that has gotten heavy down there as well. So if you're traveling to Iowa, be aware of that. All right, that's a look at what we have going on across the region right now for our viewers out in the western part of the state, Dickinson to Bismarck. The storm system coming up, the snowfall amounts will likely not be as heavy. They'll likely start a little bit sooner. Saturday evening is what they're saying out at National Weather Service in the Bismarck area, 50-mile-an-hour gusts and 6 to 12 inches possible from the winter event that lasts from Saturday all the way to Monday for our neighbors to the west. Watching from Grand Forks, the National Weather Service does not have Grand Forks in the watch, so your forecast isn't going to show up here, but I can show you Hutch's forecast, and this is what I've been showing, and the Grand Forks area will likely see a minimal amount of snow the way it looks now. There can be a shift in this storm, but we want to make sure you're prepared for what could be a very difficult stretch of weather. My advice, please keep fluid travel plans. And again, the bottom line on Hutch's 7-day planner says it all. Power outage risk, flight delays regionally at risk, livestock at risk, travel impacts by all means of travel will be there. And I'm going to add on roof load with 18 to or more inches of wet, heavy snow, mainly in west central and central parts of Minnesota to southern Minnesota, mainly in eastern South Dakota and far southeastern North Dakota. Certain large span roofs could be at risk from collapse from the weight of the heavy snow as we go through the event. That's what we need to watch for. There's nothing you can do about the roof load from a storm that's going to last for 3 days. We don't want you up there cleaning it off. Just be aware that those are some of the possible impacts from the storm, and there'll be others as well. Thanks for joining me. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I'll keep you updated throughout the day. National Weather Service issues A winter storm watch for Fargo, Moorhead, Jamestown, Mayville, Bemidji included. Our friends in eastern Polk County are in it. For Foston and Fertile, Crookston, you're not in the watch. Ada is in the watch in Norman County. Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls is in this, as well as your neighbors in Henning and Parker's Prairie. There is a winter storm watch there. It's hard to see, but that's because we have an ongoing winter weather advisory for the blue counties that you see here from the Clipper and the snow that it left behind. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back throughout the day with updates right here.